Ring ring. Ring ring. Ring ring. Hello? My computer's not working. Have you tried turning it off and back on again? Greetings, sentient being, and welcome back to Punkworks. I'm Punk, and you're Pluto, and let's get to work. Today we're going to take a little bit of a different route. It's going to be a shorter video, and I'm going to cover some more hackery topics than usual. Once again, this is not real hacking. It's just a game, but this is how you do hacking within the game called Greyhack. Topics we're going to cover are Greyhack's kind of sort of version of OSINT. We're going to be using public information in order to track down specific library versions that we can use for our own security or nefarious purposes. We're going to create a kind of Tor-ish kind of tunneling to obfuscate our home IP. Going to tunnel through a bunch of networks in order to come out to an endpoint that will make it harder for us to be traced. The final step is maybe not too glamorous. It's just a way to use reverse shells to copy stuff in remote control machines, get some files from there without having to do an actual secure shell connection. Okay, so for the first part of the OSINT, we're going to hunt down a library, libsecureshell.so version 1.3.5. That's the library that we want. We're going to use two tools, random IP and porter. You can see random IP, RNIP. It just makes a bunch of IPs. And then porter takes those IPs and searches for, whatever that spits out. So let's just go ahead and do it. Random IP, let's look for row 22. And the port that we're looking for is 22, because that's the secure shell port. So a bunch of random IPs, and then it found all of these that are running secure shell, but none of these are the library that we want. So we're just going to do it again. And we still didn't get the one we want, so I'm going to run this a few more times till we do. But that was close. There we go. It took, a few minutes there, but we found one. This IP right here has the library that we are looking for. So now that we've used public information, actually let me show you how we did that really quick. Okay, really quick, the public information that we were using is you can get a router, any router with its public IP. So that's what we're doing here, grabbing a router. And then once you have that router object, all you have to do is get the used ports and then get the port info from that port. So you don't have to do any hacking or credentials or anything like that. It's just publicly available information that you can grab. And now that we know the IP, we can hack into it. So that's going to bring us to our next step. Okay, this brings us to our next step, taking a look at kind of a Tor-ish kind of thing. So we have a script here. If you're familiar, this is a batch script or a do script that you would use with shell. Definitely check out my other previous videos. This is basically something that's going to be used in every single video. So definitely, it's an important thing to learn how to use in shell. But it's basically you just put lines on each line, and this is the instruction. It's a command that you would type right on the command line. Press enter, and it goes to the next line. So that's all this is. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this as dig.bat, okay? And then we're going to put it in our rootkit. So see right there, tor.bat. It's just one of many files that's in our rootkit for doing stuff. And before use, what we're going to do is make sure that it's named dig.bat so that we can use it with our dig routine. If I could type and talk at the same time. Okay, so now we're primed and ready to go. And here's what this is going to do. It's going to dig into a router, and then it is going to, get root, and then it's going to scrub the log, and then it's going to check something. It's going to do a conditional, and what it's going to check is over here. It's going to see if our stack pool is 14. And the stack pool is how many times you've launched shell in a nested manner. See, let me show you here real quick. So I just ran shell again as shell, and now my stack pool is 1. And when I return to my previous session, you will see that I'm back down to 0. So what this is going to do is it's going to launch nested 14 times, and the 14th, like the 15th, is when you will get kicked. So you can't go past that. Remember, 14 stack pull is actually 15, so 15 launches. So once you do that, if this is equal to the stack pull, then it's going to do this, which is going to set the shell, the last shell that we encountered in the custom object is T shell, and that's going to completely return all the way back to 0. And then you have a shell in the object that has 14, maximum of 14 or 15 connections between you and it, so that it will slow down traces and leave different logs and that sort of thing. So it's really useful. Okay, once it does that, if it's not 14, it's going to keep working. It's going to tell you where it's at, and it's going to keep working, and it's going to go on to the next line, which is to do another dig. It's going to find another machine, and then it's going to do this whole process over. And then once all this is done and it returns, it's going to scrub the log and remove the ARC-kit, and let you know that it's returning, but it's going to clean up all of your traces on all of those machines. And it takes longer to say it than it does to do it. Now, I have it running now. It's been going for a couple seconds. It's going to take a minute because it takes some time to get through each one, and we're only... Oh wait, no, it finished just as I was talking. As you can see, it went through a bunch of networks, and it made it all the way back down. I think it didn't make it to 14. Let's see how far it went. Oh, it didn't make it very far at all. It only made it in about 3. So I'm going to have to run it again because it encountered... shell. So right here, when it gets to here, it just quits. So I should probably have a thing where it just powers on through, but it just quit. So we'll just do it again. Okay, so once again, we just fire with dig-s, and then it goes and fails again because it didn't find... I don't have that many stored in here. This is only looking for libraries that I already have, so if the requirement isn't there, it'll fail. So we got one, and then it should do another one. Yep, there we go. And once again, it only got a couple. And we're back. Okay, it took a few times and I had to change a couple things in my code. Turns out there was a bug. I'll fix the rest of it later, but I got most of it fixed. So we managed to get 9 tunnels deep. So now we have a shell object in our custom object that has been routed through all of these shells that we also have. They're all routers, so no admin is gonna trace us. And this is a burner proxy, so if they ever do trace us all the way back here, this proxy will already have been burned before they are able to make it. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and use that particular shell now for our doings. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to glass pool right in to my S9. Boom. Now I'm on the router, and this is the network that router is connected to. And from here, I can, for instance, I can upload my rootkit, or I can, infiltrate a machine on this network and then set up my rootkit there, and then I can attack from there, and, basically, I'm well protected. I'm using NPCs as proxies, so I don't have to, pay for them. Okay, so the last step is we did all that. Now we're going to use this new found attack point to get ourselves lib135 like we wanted to originally. And we're going to do that using our reverse shell. Okay, so first things first, infiltrate that shell. So it's going to be infill, and then we're again referencing the index in the custom object. It's going to upload our rootkit and launch shell. So now we are native on the router, so when we probe, we can see a lot more of the network. Now that we're inside of it, we can see the whole thing. And there's a lot more machines, so it's going to take a little bit longer. But this is what we have in there. There's some cameras, some web server stuff. Looks like it's a bunch of cameras and then an employees database and then a web server. Okay, and I forgot the IP that we were going to attack last time, so I just went ahead and found another one that's got the library that we want. So we're going to take a look at that network and see if we have an entry point. Oh, we are in luck. We are super in luck. Okay, so we have a secure shell port and an SMTP port. and the secure shell port has the library that we want. So this is going to make things really easy for us. What we're going to do is we're going to get a username by attacking the SMTP port, and we're going to ask the administrator for the password, and then we're going to log in as that other person. Pretty easy, right? So to do that, we're going to open up Sphinx. This is a little more GUI driven or menu driven hack tool of mine. We're already pointed at our target. We just need to change our port, and we want port 25. So we select 5, and then of course it gives us the port map. So now we're pointed at 5, SMTP 105. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the right arrow, or the 9 key. You can press either one, but I'm going to press the right arrow, and the right arrow is going to take you to a menu that looks like this. And then you can use the arrow keys to scroll up and down, but just press up, and you're going to go to SMT pull. Okay? Then you're going to press the right arrow once again, and it does not appear to be giving up any information. Okay, I forgot. In order to use the SMTP thing, we actually need the crypto library, and I neglected to include the crypto library in my rootkit, so I'm going to need to get that real quick. So one really easy way to do that is to use apt-get. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing that we did before with Porter. We're going to get a bunch of IPs, and this time we're going to search for port 1542, which is the repository port that hack shops use. So we found one. Now I'm going to go into apt menu, and I'm going to add this repo. Okay, so we're there. And now I'm going to install crypto.so to my rootkit. And now we have crypto.so. So now when I go into Sphinx, and I go over here, and I do SMT pull. Oh, right, I got to import it real quick. Hang on. Easiest way is just relaunch shell, honestly. So let's go ahead and target. Same thing. Jump right on back in there. Do the port map. And let me go over here. And now, now we get the names we need. So that's a username, and that's a username. And while we didn't get the emails, we got a username, which is enough to get a login. So the next thing we're going to do is go over here, login issues. And we're going to just use this username right here. There we go. Let's go back up here, and this is the person that we're emailing, the network administrator. And we're telling them we forgot our password, and they're just going to give it to us. Look at that, just like that. So now that we've done that, we can just secure shell right on in. So let's use the user, and the password is me. And then the IP is going to be that, and of course port 22, but you don't actually need that because that's the default. Okay, so the shell was received, and we have it in the buffer. Let's take a look. Now remember that we left a log on this machine the moment we got this shell object, so we do need to clean that up, and it looks like the administrator's not logged in, but this user that we're pretending to be is logged in. So that's interesting, but it's not going to stop us. We're just going to go up here, and first we're going to see if we can just download the library without trouble. So let's take a look at the permissions in library, and it is readable by anyone, so we can in fact just download it. Pretty cool, right? So let's go ahead and look in cob inspect. Way up here you see my S0, okay? That's a shell object, and that's the first shell object stored when we launched shell. Remember, all these are nested launches, so it's one after the other, everything's stored, and this is our original shell. so we can actually send it right to that shell. And I'll show you how to do that, okay? We're going to go ahead and cd over to lib, just make it easier, and we're going to use SCPM. We're going to upload it, because what we're doing is we're uploading it from this machine. See, we're controlling this machine, so our perspective is here. We're uploading it from here, okay? And we're going to upload lib secure shell. Pretty cool, right? And then we're going to send it to root, and we're going to put it on my S0, okay? So just to recap, SCPM is the SCP menu. It would bring up a menu if we didn't supply everything, but it's just SCP right now. We're uploading from here to here, to root on here, and this is our home machine. We're way out in the boonies right now. This is our home machine, okay? So we're just gonna go ahead and do that, and then boom, we've used the shell that we have stored here, stored here, and the shell that we're actively infiltrating, which is none of these on the list. It's actually one that we have in the buffer here. It's this shell right here. It's the one that we're manipulating. So we've linked this file system with this file system remotely, and we simply copied the file over, just like that. So in a way, we've done kind of an OSINT hunt, we've kind of done a TOR tunneling, and we've kind of done a secure shell file system-ish kind of cross-platform file transfer. All of which using the tools within the game, and of course using my tool shell. I hope this wasn't too weird or hard to follow, and I hope it wasn't too long. I am trying to get these shorter so that I can make more of them, because I got issues and it's hard for me to do stuff. So I think if I do shorter videos that are straight to the point, maybe we can make more of them. But yeah, tell me what you guys think, what you need to learn, what you want to learn, what's good, what's bad. You know, positive and negative criticism and feedback is always welcome. And besides that, stay punky, stay cool, stay safe. Bye.